Emily stood frozen, her heart thundering in her chest as the sound of laughter and gasps echoed through the high school hallway. Her shirt hung in shreds, torn by cruel hands that mistook silence for weakness. And as the bullies sneered, waiting for her to cry or run, Emily did something no one expected. She stood tall. Emily Grace was never the loudest girl in class. She didn't wear trendy clothes or join cliques. Most days, she kept to herself books, music, and a notebook filled with sketches of worlds no one else could see. Her quiet nature made her an easy target for girls like Tasha Miller and her group. Tasha was loud, popular, and carried the kind of confidence that often masked insecurity. And to her, people like Emily were invisible until they weren't. It began with small things, a shove in the hallway, whispers behind her back, papers snatched from her hand. Emily endured it all in silence. She didn't want to burden her single mom, Rachel, who was already working 2 jobs to make ends meet. And she couldn't bear to be seen as weak, not after everything she and her mom had survived. But nothing prepared her for what happened that Friday morning. It was just before first period when Emily walked past the lockers near the gym. Tasha and her 2 friends, Brianna and Kayla, stood waiting with cruel grins plastered across their faces. Emily knew the look. She tried to walk faster, eyes on the floor. But they didn't let her pass. "Where do you think you're going, charity case?" Tasha sneered, blocking her path. Emily clutched her sketchbook tight. "I don't want trouble." "Trouble?" Kayla mocked, "We just want to see what you're hiding under all those ugly layers." Before Emily could react, Tasha grabbed the front of her shirt and yanked. The sound of fabric ripping pierced the hallway. Laughter erupted. Phones came out. Students stared. Her chest tightened with shame and fear. But she didn't cry. She didn't run. She breathed. And then she spoke. "Is this what makes you feel powerful?" she said, voice trembling but rising. "Hurting someone who did nothing to you?" The crowd grew quiet. The laughter died. Emily's voice grew stronger. "You don't know what it's like to wear the same clothes for a week because your mom can't afford the laundry. You don't know what it's like to go to sleep hungry or walk miles because there's no car. But I do. And still I show up. Every single day." Tasha's smirk faltered. Emily took off the torn outer layer, standing in her tank top, bruised but unbroken. "You think I'm weak. But I'm surviving more than you can imagine. And that makes me stronger than all of you." Silence. And then a single clap. It came from Mr. Carson, the art teacher, who had stepped out of his classroom at the commotion. Then another student clapped. And another. Soon the hallway echoed not with laughter, but with applause. Tasha stood there, stunned and speechless, for the first time. The school called both sets of parents. Rachel arrived, her eyes wide with fear when she saw Emily sitting in the office, but her daughter only smiled. "I stood up for myself, Mom." Tasha and her friends faced suspension. And for the first time, students began checking in on Emily. She wasn't invisible anymore, not because of pity, but because they saw her for the fighter she was. Mr. Carson encouraged her to submit her sketches to an art scholarship program. 1 month later, Emily received a full scholarship to a summer arts academy out of state. Life didn't get easier overnight. The bullies didn't disappear forever. But Emily had changed. She no longer shrank into corners. She spoke with purpose. She lifted others up. And when she walked down the hallway now, people moved for her, not out of fear, but out of respect.